Some stories begin with fireworks, loud moments, or dramatic events. But this one begins in silence, an echoing kind of silence that fills an empty penthouse on Christmas Eve. A silence so heavy, it almost feels like a second heartbeat. And in that quiet apartment, high above the snowy streets of Chicago, sat a man who had everything, except someone to share it with. His name was Ethan Blake, 39, brilliant, wealthy, flawlessly dressed, and painfully alone. This Christmas wasn't his first one alone, but it was the first one that made him realize something was terribly wrong. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional, inspiring stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to support our channel. The lonely CEO spent Christmas alone, until the little girl said, "Come have party at my place." Your support helps us bring more meaningful stories to you every week. Now let's start the story. Ethan Blake hadn't always been lonely. Years ago, he had been warm, ambitious, full of life. But building a billion-dollar tech company demands a price. And for Ethan, that price had been friends, holidays, relationships, and every piece of his heart he never realized he was losing. People who once loved him eventually got tired of being second place to meetings, deadlines, and conference calls. And by the time Ethan finally looked up from his empire, everyone was gone. On that Christmas Eve, snow fell thick and slow against the floor-to-ceiling windows. Chicago sparkled below, families rushing home with gifts, children tugging their parents through the cold, lovers holding hands, laughter leaking from every doorway. But from Ethan's penthouse, the city looked like a world he no longer belonged to. He heated leftovers, some overpriced takeout had ordered hours earlier, and sat alone at the long marble dining table meant to seat 12 people. He ate half of it, but it all tasted like cardboard. With every bite, a knot in his chest pulled tighter. He pushed the food away, grabbed his coat, and walked downstairs. He didn't know where he was going, and for once, he didn't care. The streets were busy, alive with holiday energy, and as Ethan walked through them, he felt like a ghost drifting between worlds. Nobody looked at him, nobody recognized him, nobody cared. He was just another man on the sidewalk, and strangely, that made him feel even emptier. He kept walking until he reached a small neighborhood, a place far from the glass towers and wealthy avenues he was used to. Here, the houses were smaller, lined with colorful lights, each one overflowing with people celebrating together. Laughter spilled out of windows, music drifted in the air. It felt warm, human, something Ethan hadn't felt in years. Then he noticed a tiny figure sitting alone on the steps of a small brick house. A little girl, maybe 7 or 8, wrapped in a pink puffy coat and mismatched gloves. She was hugging a beat-up, stuffed bunny, her feet swinging above the ground. Ethan hesitated, unsure if he should approach. But something about the girl, her smallness, her quietness, pulled him forward. "You okay out here?" he asked gently. She looked up at him with big brown eyes. "Yeah, I'm waiting for my grandma. She went to get the pies from the neighbor. She told me to wait right here." Ethan nodded. "It's pretty cold," she shrugged. "I don't mind. Christmas is supposed to be fun. Grandma says the cold makes the lights prettier." Her voice had a kind of innocent wisdom that softened Ethan's chest. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily," she answered proudly. "What's yours?" "Ethan." She studied him for a moment. "You look sad." Ethan blinked. "Do I?" "Yeah," she said simply. "Your eyes look like when our old neighbor's dog got stuck in the fence. He looked sad too. Grandma helped him." She paused. "Do you need help?" The question hit Ethan harder than he expected. Nobody had asked him that in years. He cleared his throat. "No, I'm fine, just walking." But Lily shook her head firmly, walking in the cold alone on Christmas Eve is not fine. Before Ethan could respond, she scooted a little closer, holding out her stuffed bunny. "You can hold Mr. Carrots if you want. He makes me feel better when I'm sad." Ethan stared at the bunny, patched and worn from love. A billionaire CEO, being offered comfort by a child. Slowly, carefully, he reached out and held the bunny. It was soft, a little lopsided, and strangely comforting. "Thank you," Ethan said quietly. "You're welcome," she said, with a small smile. "Are you having Christmas with your family?" He shook his head. "No, not this year. Why?" "Did you do something bad?" she asked bluntly. Ethan laughed, a short, surprised sound. Maybe I forgot how to be close to people." Lily frowned thoughtfully. "Then you need a Christmas party." Before Ethan could say anything, she hopped to her feet. "You should come to mine." Ethan blinked. "I what?" She nodded excitedly. "We have cookies and hot chocolate and music and everything. And Grandma always says Christmas is for everyone, not just the people you live with." Ethan looked toward the small house. Lights twinkled in the windows. Shadows moved inside, people laughing, singing, hugging. Everything he didn't have. "I don't want to intrude," he murmured. Lily grabbed his hand, her small glove gripping his larger one with surprising confidence. "You're not intruding. You're invited." Before he could protest, the front door opened and a warm-faced older woman stepped out, holding a pie tin and brushing snow off her coat. "Lily, I told you to wait inside if you got coldo." She paused when she saw Ethan. "Grandma, this is Ethan," Lily announced proudly. "He's coming to our Christmas party because he looks sad and he needs kindness." The grandmother's eyes softened instantly. She took in Ethan's expensive coat, tired eyes, and uncertain posture. "Well," she said gently, "we always have room for one more." Ethan felt something tight inside him loosen. He nodded slowly. "Thank you," he whispered. Inside, the house was small but overflowing with warmth. The smell of cinnamon, vanilla, and pine filled the air. Christmas music played softly. Kids ran around with candy canes, adults carried trays of food, and every corner was decorated with handmade ornaments. It felt alive. A middle-aged man wearing a sweater covered in blinking lights introduced himself as Lily's uncle. Someone handed Ethan hot chocolate topped with marshmallows. A woman with a messy bun pulled him into a conversation about holiday traditions. Kids asked him to help build a gingerbread house. They didn't care who he was. They didn't ask about his job, his money, his success. For the first time in years, Ethan felt human. Lily tugged his sleeve when he drifted toward the Christmas tree. "Are you having fun?" Ethan smiled, real and full. "More than I can say." She grinned. "See? You needed a party." As the night went on, Ethan found himself laughing, really laughing at jokes, stories, and silly family games. He helped Lily decorate cookies, creating a terribly messy one she proudly named Ethan's Snow Disaster. He helped her grandmother wash dishes. He listened to carols he'd forgotten he loved. Hours passed, but it all felt like one warm moment. Near midnight, Lily curled up beside him on the couch, sleepy and content. "Ethan?" she mumbled. "Yes? Don't be lonely next Christmas." Her words were simple, but they pierced through everything He'd built his life around. He placed his arm gently around her. "He'll try not to be." She nodded sleepily. "Good. You can come here again." Ethan swallowed the sudden emotion rising in his throat. "ID like that?" Her grandmother walked over softly. "Looks like someone found a new Christmas friend," she whispered. Ethan looked at the sleeping child, then back at the warmth-filled room. "I think I found something more," he said softly. "I found home." The grandmother rested a hand on his shoulder. "Kindness can do that. It opens doors people forgot were locked." Ethan nodded, tears gathering in his eyes. "Thank you. Truly." She smiled. "Merry Christmas, Ethan. Merry Christmas." That night changed everything. In the weeks that followed, Ethan reached out to old friends. He repaired relationships He'd neglected. He visited Lily and her grandmother, often bringing groceries, helping with repairs, eating dinner with them just because it felt good. He learned to laugh again. He learned to listen. He learned to be part of something, not above it. And the next Christmas, Ethan didn't spend it in a silent penthouse. He spent it in that same small house surrounded by warmth, chaos, love, and laughter, holding a new stuffed bunny Lily had given him just in case he ever felt sad again. And he never forgot the lesson that tiny girl taught him. Sometimes the greatest acts of kindness come from the smallest hearts. And sometimes, one simple invitation can change an entire life. Kindness doesn't cost anything, but it can save someone. It can heal someone. It can bring someone home. So as you finish this story, remember, your small act of kindness might be the one thing someone out there desperately needs. Spread kindness, share love, and never underestimate the power of inviting someone in from the cold.